That.
Yeah.
Telling it's like, oh,
Well,
it's not.
it's worth noting that some of them are cut into the. Areas, that's like.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our S&A meeting today. As you can see, we have a couple things on our agenda, so let's get right started. I call this meeting to order at 5 p.m.
A few moments to look for our order today. Revisions. Probably would like to speak into this.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve today's meeting minutes. Is there a second? Second that. Already, any discussion?
All those in favor of approving today's meeting minutes, sorry, today's agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, the agenda is approved. Next, the approval of meeting minutes. I'll give you a few moments to look over those if you have quite a bit. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
A second one.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving today, last week's meeting minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Already, the ayes have it, the meeting minutes are approved. Next, starting with the reports, starting with the chair. I just want to give a few guidelines for public comment today. Before we begin public comment, and I'll try to remind everyone as well. I want to remind everyone to maintain decorum. That means no shouting, name calling, or personal attacks. Please speak respectfully and keep your comments directed to the committee as a whole. And each speaker will have 3 minutes, and please step up to this microphone over here. I will try to politely cut you off at 3 minutes. After that, it's up to the committee to decide if we want to extend public comment time. Advisors.
We did receive a response from Joel talking that the most recent supplemental funding request for the ASCW was approved.
ASCWU.
Yeah, in our next public meeting, I'm bringing the 4% increase to board to see if they approve it. Yeah. Relay that information.
Thank you. Alrighty, if you look to our agenda, we do have quite a bit of communications received. Please take a moment to look over those on your own time. And these will be posted on our S&A website as well. So with the meeting minutes. All right, again, for public comment, I do want to remind everyone to please be respectful to your fellow Wildcats and 3 minutes. And also the microphone is over here. All right. Oh, I also want to remind everyone again, my bad. We do have 2 rounds of public comment. So we have 1 round at the beginning and then 1 round right before adjournment. Okay. I'll be making my first call for public comment. Is there any public comment? Okay.
Guys, doing well? Cool. There we go. All right. Esteemed S&A Committee, we are speaking here on behalf of the students and faculty who work on Central Student Media outlets, The Observer and Pulse magazine. We are Jackson Roberts, Brandon Matisich, who has joined us virtually, and we are the co-editor-in-chiefs of The Observer, as well as joined by Gunnar Stuntz, the editor-in-chief of Pulse magazine, and plenty of our staff who are here supporting us as well. During the spring break, we received notice that the S&A Committee planned to defund The Observer, an institution that has been a part of the CWU campus for over 100 years and serves as the voice of the students, as well as the quarterly student magazine, Pulse magazine. We implore you to please reconsider this decision and to seriously look at the ramifications of completely defunding student media. If this decision is to pass, it will mean the silencing of student voices as well as a free and independent student press by the students for the students in a time when journalism matters now more than ever. To cite a well-known quote, a key purpose of journalism is to provide an adversarial check on those who wield the greatest power by shining a light on what they do in the dark and informing the public about those acts as well. Based on what we read in published deliberations, we would like to clarify some key points about how the student media function and the history of the funding from the S&A Committee. Student media at CWU are funded by fees paid by students and assigned by the S&A Committee. Our traditional funding by student fees ensures independent and free press, as I said, by the students for the students. And this happens all on the CWU campus. If we were funded by the administration, we might be limited by that administration on what we could cover. And we work on behalf of student interests. We're also overseen by an independent student media board and not by faculty or administration or administrators. And students make all content decisions at the Observer and Pulse magazine. In the S&A Committee minutes from March 17th, just last month, the committee announced its plans to defund the Observer and Pulse based on supposed violations of Killian's guidelines, which are the basic principles governing the use of S&A fees. Yet, just a couple of days earlier, according to the S&A Committee's minutes from March 14th last month, they originally planned to fund the Observer $36,000 regardless of Killian's guidelines for salaries, travel, and awards, but no printing. Killian's guidelines have never been an issue in the past. S&A has been funding student media in the same structure since the 1990s. In fact, we received comments on our website since this news broke from a former president of the S&A Fees Committee in the 1990s, as well as a former member of the CWU Board of Trustees. The former president of the S&A Fees Committee is Allison Kostinget, and they have this to say. I served as the president of the S&A Fees Committee in the late 90s. A student paper is essential to a healthy campus community, and during my tenure, excellent journalism uncovered corruption in our student government. There's a reason we need a free press. Very few institutions hold truth to power, and a free press is essential. College campuses are where these skills are learned and then tested. And another comment from Ron Erickson, who was on the Board of Trustees from 2011 to 2021, said funding for the Observer should be reinstated. The Observer is vital to the campus community and a great teaching and learning tool. The committee itself stated in the meeting that funding the Observer, quote, feels wrong and sad, but this is just a recommendation and still has to be approved by the groups, end quote. The committee itself the proposal requires approval by administrators and trustees, and we hope they realize that if funding student journalists and student
Thank you
media.
so much for your public comment. Is there any other public comment?
Yes. As previously mentioned, I'm Gunnar Stuns, EIC at Pulse Magazine. Other aspects of the deliberations about Pulse and Observer suggest that the committee should have come back to us for additional information. It is our understanding that members weren't aware, for example, that only a few students have paid roles, not all students. That Observer has a fully functioning website, or that the 1,000 copies printed each quarter of Pulse were all distributed and picked up. We are speaking here tonight to request that the S&A Committee's proposal be rejected and that the Observer and Pulse continue to receive proper funding for student hourly pay for small staff, awards, professional memberships, office operations, and potential travel. When we applied for this round of funding, we requested the bare minimum to keep this campus institution afloat. In simplest terms, the proposed $1,100 for Observer and $2,000 for Pulse will not be enough to sustain these operations. This proposed budget is not a budget, it is a death sentence to one of CWU's longest running institutions and its most popular publications. While the Observer is ready to pivot to digital only, we strongly feel that Pulse should continue to be funded to print copies and distribute these on campus and in town. The print magazine has an avid readership, covers all aspects of student life, wins national awards, including the Pulitzer Prize of College Journalism, the Pacemaker, fulfills an essential public service, and, moreover, serves as an excellent representation of this university and its student community. As far as the Killian rules, let us explain that students in paid roles are putting in those hours on top of class credits. The Observer usually has 6 to 8 paid students and Pulse 3 to 4. If it would allow the S&A Committee to reevaluate their proposals, the communication department is willing to change its policies and separate paid roles for leadership from the class credit roles of other students on staff. However, We reiterate that S&A has been funding these paid roles in the current structure since the 1990s, and some students deserve both the credit and paid hours based on how many hours they dedicate each week. These are positions of great responsibility. We are liable for what all of our student reporters publish, and we take our roles seriously. As editors-in-chief, we dedicate over 20 hours a week to these positions. The Observer serves a unique role on the campus as the voice of the students and a watchdog of campus administration, holding the powers that be accountable and shining a light on issues of concern to students. Past coverage of important issues in both the Observer and Pulse, such as the Title IX concerns, complaints about dining, issues with on-campus jobs, dorm problems, and critique of programs, staff, faculty, and administration, has directly contributed to changed policies and improvements on campus with benefits for all students. Without us, some of these issues might not have come to light or been addressed. The fact that we've been able to put out the type of product we have and continue to win awards at the regional and national level with the already limited funding we have, as well as significantly fewer staff members compared to other universities, is a testament to the efforts of our leadership team and the entire staff. For example, just this weekend, some of our staff members are attending the Regional Society of Professional Journalists Conference in Portland because Pulse and Observer are finalists for Best Magazine, Newspaper, Website, and Multimedia Awards. Please reconsider the proposed defunding of your campus newspaper and magazine.
Seeing that there's no more public comment, we'll move on to new business. As you can see, we have item 2514, however, they are withdrawn from, or they have withdrawn the request, so there's no need to do that anymore. Seeing that we have no more new old business, I'll make my second call for public comment. Is there any public comment?
Yeah, can you guys turn on the chat on?
Is there any other public comment? All right, seeing that there's.
Hello, my name is Z Morris. I'm the lead graphic designer at the Observer newspaper. And I would just like to take this moment as a public comment to say that the Observer newspaper and Pulse magazine and all aspects of student media do a lot for our campus other than just being in journalism. I know that I would not have the portfolio, the professionalism, and the support and networking that I do in this moment if it was not for student media in my professional career. And I just would like to encourage you to consider the impact that it will have on many departments.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Seeing that there's no more public comment, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn today's meeting.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of adjourning today's meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. I call this meeting to a close at 5:15 p.m.